This is the Front Row Sports Podcast. This is Fab, Steve, Wes. We are here talking, I guess, last time talking about The Last Dance. It's over, fellas. It's all done.
Never over. It's forever in our hearts.
Hey, the guy did say, Jason Hare, who did this documentary, he did say there's enough footage for like at least a couple more episodes. Because Jalen Jacoby did ask him, like, yo, is there anything else? They were like, he's like, if they wanted it, we can give it because there's a whole lot more footage that they did not use. So, what did y'all think of? What did y'all first before we talk about the whole thing? What did y'all think about the last episode?
You got it.
It was the culmination of both storylines, past and present, coming together. Right? You end up with the high point of the whole thing in Game 6. And so you see just what he went through in probably his toughest game on the road without Pippen, with a hurt back. The only other player in double figures is Kukoc with 15. He shoots over half his team's shots. People had never seen that before. Scores 45. Steals the ball from one Hall of Famer. Runs down the court, sinks the jumper. Game over.
Yeah.
And so it was like that game, I think, for people who love him, is why we will never concede his spot at number one for us. Because in 30 seconds, he showed at the highest possible time in the finals, like the most pressure-filled time in the finals, he showed he was the best defensive player, and ended it with a fundamental, like his shot was coming up short the whole fourth quarter. He didn't shoot well. And he knew it. And so he extended his arm. He exaggerated the extension just to make sure he followed through. And so at the most pressure-filled moment, he went back to basics, which is what he built his entire game on fundamentally. And so it's just poetic for me. That's why you can't. I don't want to hear about anybody else. LeBron can't shoot free throws. I can't. I can't deal with that.
Wes, what did you got?
I just thought, like, even with the momentum of everything, I remember like seeing the photo of that when I was really young, and just thinking about, like, of course, like, I knew who Jordan was and how iconic he was, even from an early age, but even kind of like seeing how everything came together in this doc. I think the best episode for me was 10, maybe 1. Another one for me is 9. But I felt like 10, it was the best one because everything was already like present. It wasn't like any more of like the backstory behind it. It was like everything was here. I thought it was really cool because to see that Byron Russell was on his hit list, and literally, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was like that Jordan even had more motivation because of Byron Russell, because of Karl Malone, because of just the fact that it's like competition in general, like for me, was just something to see. The other thing was, man, this guy with Jordan, man, I don't know anybody that's like cooler than him on the floor. Like, that's just the other thing. Like, even when he's missing shots, even when he's just walking up and down the floor, there's just a certain charisma that he has. And so even when that last shot, it just seems like something that looked poetic. Like the crossover, like the slight push, the everything, the gooseneck with the wrist and everything, playing in shoes that hadn't even come out yet. Like,
don't get Steve started.
That is still one of the most astonishing things I've ever seen in the
NBA. Yeah, I mean, you got that. You got it just everything was just so poetic in a game. I mean, to have your ace, your guy by your side, Scotty, to have these back issues and it's coming in and out like every 5 minutes. Like this is some little league game. Like just checking back in and out.
That's
like that was amazing to me to see that. And the other thing is, even with Scotty, to see how much pain he was in, because I don't think I'd ever seen a whole highlight of the full game. To see like, my man is literally running, back straight and can't even like, that was just amazing. So even with the last episode, just seeing all of that stuff, I mean, it's just truly poetic. How I think about Jordan, he's a myth, man. That's it. He's just a myth. As far as stuff on the floor, he's a myth, and that's all I can leave it at.
For me, it was like I was reliving that whole last 5 minutes. It was like I was like my heart rate was going up and everything. Like I felt like I was there again, all over again, and just seeing. I remember they were down by like how many were they down by? It's like Steve by like 6 or.
Yeah.
And they
going into the final minute, they were down. They're down 3.
Yeah.
So he gets the ball. He scores the first quick layup in like 4.8 seconds, which forces Utah to have to go because there was still more time left in the 24-second shot clock. So he was going to get a chance if they could get the rebound or stop. And so Utah comes down in their set. They go to Karl Malone just like they've always done. Michael knows the set they're running.
Because they ran it just like a few plays earlier.
He gets picked. He doesn't clear. He comes back around the blind side on Karl Malone, strips the ball. Karl Malone falls. Jordan picks up the ball and pushes it. And I always wondered, a lesser coach would have called timeout.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was his philosophy. I know B.J. Armstrong's talked about that. Like it was the thing of if he can, he mentioned it, if he could not let them get into a set defense, that's great, but also allow like his players on offense to be able to think the game in such a way. That's something that you got to have some serious trust, man, to even build upon. Like I don't know any coaches of mine that have ever said, y'all control it in the last minutes, and I mean, that's not to say like any of us that were on the teams were that great as them or anything like that. It's just the philosophy of coaching to see that freedom, or I should say that liberty for them to be able to function in this environment and then be like, at the closing minutes, I ain't going to call timeout because I trust that you guys can make something happen.
I was strip things out because we were out of timeouts. So our coach would say, okay, if y'all get a rebound or stop, you're going to run this set. They have 5 fouls. If you get fouled, you go into the line.
Mm-hmm.
And so wait and set up and take the best shot. Do not give the ball back to them. And so it's like 45 seconds left when we go back into the game. And so we can't stop the clock on our own. We're out of timeout. So yes. Yeah. But they could have called timeout. But he pushed. One of the things I saw on Twitter that was interesting is that he was so great. It doesn't seem like teams really doubled him the way we even see James Harden get doubled today, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like he was able in a lot of situations because of the triangle and because of himself physically able to get in positions where it was just one person on him.
But even when he was doubled, I mean, that's why Kerr gets his shot,
Right.
Just knowing when to make that right pass. Because that system, and I think that's what it also shows, like, I mean, Dennis comes out and says, Scotty says it as well. They knew once that steal was made, clear out. Like, they knew whoever was taking this shot. And I think that's the other thing, which makes it a great story as far as everything coming together. They knew at that moment, like, this potentially can be the end.
Right.
And so it's like, we got to let Jordan take this shot,
that's insane.
Yeah. And the other thing is, which makes it even a basic fundamental thing, to see like Jordan gets a shot that's in his area, in his spot. Like he goes straight to it. He talks about like he was trying to go for the drive, but he didn't get that. And so to come back on that crossover, but to still go to that mid range, like he relied on what was his go-to move, which for a lot of people, I mean, that's why these assassins, man, they just going straight to what they know, what's in that chamber. Like, that's it.
But also you got to think about he also knew who was guarding him and knew what his move.
Yeah. He talked about him leaning on his toes, man. Yeah.
He did exactly that. Made him lean. And everybody thinks that's the push. He was gone. He was getting the other direction.
Yeah, I used to think like that was like a serious push, but then like even thinking about it, like that momentum that he's carrying with, because I'm sure just being on that floor to see him drive that hard, Byron's actually thinking like, oh, here comes the layup, trying to cut him off. That momentum that he's carrying by himself to try to get there is hard enough to like stop at the moment and then still be like back over here. So even with the little slight push and even with him going, it's bound to happen either way.
I remember not even caring that Brian Russell fell. My most important thing was just make the shot.
Did you see the kid in the back that had 6 up? Yo.
I love that.
Man.
I'm probably gonna buy it soon. They have it's like 2 by 3 feet, the high res photo of him shooting the ball with the whole crowd behind the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Individually see the Utah fans like, no. So, yeah.
I remember from that night afterwards, like they interviewed Steve Kerr. I think it was on MSNBC. He was saying like, it was like, I'm happy Michael hit the shot. I just wish he would have took a little bit more time off the clock. But because actually, who's it? John Stockton had a pretty nice, clean
shot. Had a great look. Harper came out and fought him for it. But Stockton's shot, look, man, it bounced off the front and back of the rim.
It was a pretty good shot.
Which is interesting because he didn't have a good game, Stockton.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, like, as far as the writing at the time with the articles and stuff, how they assessed Utah's game, like, as far as how they all played, as far as the stars, because Stockton's stat line isn't even that impressive at all. I think also the other thing is to see, like, how the scores of these games are going. I mean, barely breaking 100 if they do.
86.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a Game 6 NBA Finals.
We have to discuss this before we go into Reggie.
Oh, you said what? Say it again?
Take a moment. We have to discuss this before we go into Reggie Miller. So, for those of you who don't know, Air Jordans come out every year. And that year was the year of the Air Jordan 13. If you're watching the game, it's the pair that Ron Harper wears in Game 6. Without warning, Michael Jordan comes out in a shoe we have never seen before. I happened to be recording the game on VHS and actually paused it afterwards because of standard definition. I still couldn't get much more than a shadow of this black shoe he was wearing. It wasn't until months later that we see it, or even weeks later on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which I took from the airplane, because they had a copy of it with him on the cover hitting the last shot, that you could actually see the shoe. And so this guy took the next year's shoe, never seen before, and brought it on the road of the NBA Finals.
Also, that Kenny Lattimore before it was out.
What do you listen to? Kenny Lattimore.
But it makes sense because even thinking about him in the time like that he was born and then coming up from the South, like he wouldn't be on hip hop like that.
The R&B.
Yeah.
Like they say stories like he dropped 40 on people singing Anita Baker to them.
Yeah. Giving you the best that I got.
You know he can't sing.
I've never heard him try.
I can't.
So this is the stat line from that final game. Jordan had 45. He had how many assists? 1 assist.
We get talked about either.
1 rebound.
In his last game with the Bulls, he scored the jersey number that he retired.
That's crazy.
Y'all apologists be thinking about that. That's right. He scored exactly the same number.
Numerology. All the planets were aligned.
It was 45, 4 steals, 1 assist, 1 rebound.
1 assist.
1 assist, 1 rebound. He was 15 of 35 from the field.
He did not shoot well.
Nah, but he had 45 points. That man, he was, and the next closest scorer was 15. That was Tony Kukoc.
Kukoc. Oh.
Ron Harper.
What was Utah's stat line?
Karl Malone had 31. Hornacek had 17. Stockton only had 10.
I thought, I didn't think he had that good of a game.
Yeah, and everybody else was below that. It was like 7-2, 9-2, 5-3. That was about it for everybody else.
Did Jordan play?
How
many minutes did Jordan play?
It says Jordan played. Where is it? Oh, minutes. 43 minutes and 41 seconds. So he literally sat down for about a minute and a half throughout that whole game.
That's unbelievable, man.
Somebody else.
Like, that's insane. Tony Kukoc played 42 minutes. And Dennis Rodman played 38 minutes.
How many rebounds did Rodman have?
He only had 8.
Yeah, I just think that's the thing, man. Like, they were on fumes.
They were literally
as much as they were all, because I think you think about that lineup, man. Ron Harper, who was, I think people don't understand how good he was in Cleveland. But at the same time, Ron Harper, you got Jordan, you got Pippen, you got Dennis Rodman, you got Tony Kukoc. All of these guys are kind of hybrids in their positions. More so, not really Jordan, because, I mean, he does have the standard body in a sense, but in the sense that, like, they are all athletic, but they've come to a point where it's like they're about to hit a wall, like, just from the season.
Yep.
And it's evident in that stat line. But Jordan then produces 45. Like, it's so hard to get above 20. Forget like 45. Like,
and the thing you got to remember, they were fighting and clawing throughout that whole game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember. I still can't figure out how they got on top. Like, they were literally behind the whole game.
Throughout that fourth quarter, I said they were going to lose.
And that's the thing. I think now, of course, like, I wasn't watching that game live or anything like that, but to see everybody talk about the fact that they assumed that they were going to lose. And even coming into the series, how the odds were kind of against them. Not that people weren't in favor of Jordan winning, but it's just like everybody knew it was evident, like, this isn't just the last dance because the team's getting broken up, but just because, like, the physical nature of this, how much more can they take?
Yeah.
You know?
Which leads me to our next discussion. The comments that Jordan made at the end of the doc. Like, he was upset that they didn't go for 7. Like, he's still mad they didn't go for 7. Do you think they could have gone to 7 with that 50-game season and actually won?
Yep.
With 50 games, yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't like to speak like that because I just don't know. I can't say absolutely, but I would trend towards yes.
And here's what people forget. That season didn't start until January of 99.
Yep.
Right? So you're talking about those legs having July, August, September, October, November, December, 6 months to recover.
Scotty would have got his back repaired.
If Scotty would have been back, that's what the question would have been. But I think he would have, like Jordan was saying, if everybody else would have re-signed. The thing is, I mean, like I said, the hope would be like, yeah, they would be able to do it again. And that's the crazy part, thinking about, like, the Jordan literally leaves the game when he's at his mental height. Maybe not still at the physical height still, but he's at his mental height, IQ-wise, of the game, where it's like the game has become easier, where now the athleticism part isn't what he's just relying on, but it's just like my mental part of it is now carrying me over. And to see like he had to step away when he's still there, like, yeah, that's someone that's a competition
and
that's such a way. Yeah,
I think that's the reason why he had to come back with the Wizards. Like he had to get that last part out of him. He had to get it out.
But I think it's just human nature, right? You like to see things play through to completion.
Oh yeah.
Like this team never lost.
Yeah.
Like this team never lost in the finals. And so, like he said, you are taking away our chance to defend our title. That would have. You imagine if they had won 7?
Yeah, man.
And the last 4 were in a row.
I mean, it would just increase the way y'all talk about him. I'm convinced this man could sleep with y'all's wives and y'all be like, but Jordan justifying this man. Like some of the things that I've seen literally and this kind of goes into stuff that we were talking about last week, but it's just some of the things that I've seen. I'm like, come on, man. Like we've got to be a better thinking society than just saying like, yeah, like this is crazy. This man out here stopping people from eating. Yeah, but he's justified because, like, no, that's not it.
I think they could have gone. They could have got to 7. Honestly, but we all know the reason why. It's not because Jordan said anything. It's the only reason because Phil was like, "All right, I'm done," and that he was done because the relationship with Jerry Krause was just bad. It was
so. I don't know if y'all saw the excerpts from Krause's memoirs before he had passed, but he was saying that Jackson had already determined that he was going to go to Montana. Now, I heard Bomani Jones say on his podcast, he raised a question, and he was like, how far-fetched would that be for Phil Jackson to just get up and say, you know what, I'm out of here, when he also has the theory that after 7 years, the team won't listen to you. And so, like, I think it is like a combination of a whole bunch of different things. I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Jackson was like, I'm not about to do this again. I just said I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if that did happen or not. But ultimately, for me, I can't stand everything going to Krause because Reinsdorf, he still owns the team, doesn't he?
Listen, yes.
You know what I wish they would have done? If Jordan was really about it, he should have just started showing all of the records from every season since. Forget everything with D Rose and all of them. Like literally since they left, they've been in a rebuild.
Which is what he said in the press conference.
Dude,
talking about the Chicago Cubs.
Just be rebuilding for years, man.
That to me, he's the ultimate villain in all this because he was spineless with Jerry Krause. He let him do whatever the heck he wanted to do. He said he told Scottie not to sign the contract. So why did you give him the contract in the first place? You're the owner. You can control that. You can say something. You can say, no, we're not giving him this contract. We can give him a better contract.
I mean,
to me,
there's some more. There's two sides of every story, which I agree with. All I'm saying is that they gave props to Krause at the end. I'm just saying there needs to be more like, what is my man Reinsdorf doing? Because obviously it didn't work. Did you see how Krause was actually trying to get, was it Tim Duncan and Tracy McGrady to Chicago?
I know about the Tracy. I know.
He was trying to get Tim Duncan there as well. Like, and it's just a whole bunch of different things as far as like, I guess that he had on his side, in his mind, on how he was going to rebuild the Bulls and everything like that. But it didn't work. Didn't work.
I think he went about it in the wrong way, and because it seemed like he didn't really talk with a lot of people. He probably didn't talk with Jordan, which should have been one of the top people he talked to. Scottie.
Reinsdorf or Krause?
Krause. Because I think it seems like he was just trying to make it his own team without having any player influence at all. But I understand wanting to rebuild, knowing that the players are getting older. But I think the way at that time how things were going, he could have probably like hollered at the players a little bit.
He could have waited one more year.
Yeah.
He could have waited one more year, see if they got beat. And I think that one more year, if they did even come close to really getting beat, then it could have been like, all right, we need to retool.
Yeah.
And even if they won, like, all right, we're going to – I'm glad, like, Steve Kerr's here, but we're going to need to trade him, like, to get somebody else in here or something, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. I mean, it worked out in their favor, 6 for 6. I mean, the biggest test they got, Utah –
was Utah the biggest test, or was it Indiana? Was it Indiana Pacers? Let's talk about that now. Let's talk about Reggie Miller and them now.
Go ahead, Steven. I'm gonna start going off.
Reggie was always an interesting matchup because he never got to shine in those matchups against Jordan. For those of us who were diehard NBA fans back then, the big matchup for Michael Jordan that was really quiet was Mitch Richmond, because Mitch Richmond at that point was considered the second best shooting guard in the league for years and years and years. And so the thing with Jordan was that he was always going to start the All-Star game in the East, always at shooting guard. And so Reggie, I don't think Reggie gets the attention that he deserves because of how good he was for how long he played.
Reggie's one of those weird players because if you look at his stat line career-wise, he's at 18 points per game. And so it's like he didn't break 20. He did in some seasons, but overall, I just love Reggie Miller, man. Like, for what he represents as far as I do not care. I just think, like, I just like seeing that whole aspect in episode 9 where even after the loss, he has a firm belief, like, that they had the better team. Like, and that they were more – he said that they should have been prepared to win in such a way. But all I know is as far as who was the best team that they faced, I think there could be an argument on the Supersonics because I think things get lost as far as like who they all were as units. I think we kind of focus just on Kemp and Peyton, and then especially with Kemp, you know, there's not too many players like now where you're just gonna say like you just like somebody. Most of us really like Kemp because he was just dunking on people in such a way and everything like that. So it's just like to see that somebody was a star on the team like him, to see how they had a cohesive unit led by Gary Payton in such a way. I think that's probably the best team all the way. Difficult matchup was probably Indiana, but the team within itself, I would say probably Seattle.
That was the first NBA Finals I saw where Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were not the best athletes on the floor.
Yeah, man.
Sean Kemp came over and palmed one of Michael Jordan's layups. Another game, he spun baseline on Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Twisted and hoisted himself up on the rim and sat on top of Rodman's shoulders. And then another game in Chicago, he comes down the middle of the key and booms on Pippen. So those are my 3 favorite plays of that series.
Let me ask you this question, though. So out of the teams that they faced throughout that 90s period, you got Clyde, you got and we're talking about like the stars of the team. So Clyde, you got Barkley, you got Magic, you got Gary Payton, you got Karl Malone, right? Who out of those, when they faced them, not saying like all time, but when they faced them was the absolute best? Because I think that Charles Barkley may have been the best player they played against.
Into my sneakers here. Absolutely, Charles Barkley ended up playing. I'm at my parents' house, so I had to grab this out of the shoe closet.
Yeah, I think Charles Barkley probably, as an individual player at that present time,
he won MVP.
Yeah. Which, I mean, some people would say, well, what about Karl with his seasons that he was having? But I think Charles Barkley I wasn't alive, but even just reading up on stuff and then watching things, I think he was a little bit more dominant than Karl Malone was in those 2 years that he had against Chicago.
In those matchups in '93, the Bulls never did figure out how to defend him.
Yeah, and which is an appreciation for in those episodes, because we see so much of Charles now, and he's the commentator, but it's in to realize, Draymond's beef with him is why? Choose somebody else.
That's like you've seen on Twitter and people talk about Draymond defending Shaq.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, got to see this picture. Someone tried to match them up by size and have him defend Shaq in the post. And Shaq, in the photo, if Shaq turned his shoulders, Draymond would disappear.
Yikes.
You're gonna stop this guy, 2000 Shaq. They said Shaq would average 50 and 25.
Yeah. And that's why, it makes me think, because, with the Shaq, with the Reggie, with the Charles, what would they look like today? Especially Reggie. Oh, man.
Stop running. He runs more than Steph.
Yes. But then here's the thing that makes it so interesting. And this is the dynamic between, a Reggie, a Ray Allen, a Steph Curry. Because it's does Reggie have the teams that Steph had? And yet he's taking these people to the finals. It's a weird thing because Reggie Miller gets lost in the discussion of the greats. Not necessarily that he's a top 10, of course, or anything like that. But it's just what he was doing and how he played, that was years ahead of how people were playing at the time, where I'm just running off of screens. I'm getting jump shots. When that's my option, I'm taking it inside. He's a skinny guy. This is different.
Took the torch from him doing that, but after Rip, it wasn't probably until Steph that we saw people really running off of screens like that. Ray Allen too.
That's when Ray became a specialist. Yeah. Ray before, there's so many players early on. The Milwaukee Ray is a different Ray.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets to Boston,
Ray was in the category of Grant Hill, the followers of Jordan in that light. But when he went to Seattle, he started changing his game to
yeah. Grant Hill, boy.
These are the stats. I was just looking at the stats from the Indiana Bulls series in '98, and this is the crazy thing. None of the Indiana Pacers averaged above 20 points. None of them.
That's amazing.
Reggie Miller had 17.4. Rick Smits was the next best scorer at 16.3.
How does he lose that jump at 7'4"? Forget white man can't jump. You're 7'4", man. With tube socks on. Your legs are warm. They are. Come on, man.
Just raising your arm, you're at 9.5 feet.
Yikes, man. I may be cussing you out on that one. I may be.
That's incredible.
I think that was the first team we saw outside of Orlando that vocally said, "We are the better team. We're not afraid."
Yeah. I need somebody to document that Indiana run, though, from when they start to when it ends, because they had teams. You think about by the time that the brawl at Auburn Hills happens, they were set up with teams, man. And Reggie kept running he had problems with his teams, man.
Larry Bird was a great GM.
Bruh.
Larry Bird was a great GM.
They had teams. Good team.
He had them set up for years.
And couldn't get over the hump. No. Reggie Miller out here trying to do a fundamental layup, and one of the greatest blocks I've ever seen in my life.
John Prince. And everybody wants to talk about LeBron's block in the finals. I think that Tayshaun Prince block is I think that's above above that.
I do.
No,
Momentum-wise, because you remember, and this, even though this is off topic, there hadn't been a score. Like, no one got any type of points within 2 minutes. I think it was 2 or 5 minutes, something like that. And so going back and forth, I mean, they playing some sloppy offensive ball. Great defense, but sloppy offensive ball. And to see, if you're watching from when LeBron takes off and how Andre Iguodala's got to be like, oh, buckets. And my man, even though technically that's a goaltend, but he's prepared to block on both sides. That's a scary man. I don't care, man.
he could have reversed the layup and still gotten it.
I still would have gotten that.
That is horrifying.
Oh man, that's so scary.
So I thought driving to the basket that if you had one defender on you, that there was nothing the defender could do about a reverse layup. Because you're using the rim as a shield, and they're playing you for the block on one side of the basket. So if you hold on to it, and they jump with you, and you know what you're going to do, they shouldn't be able to get to you to reverse it. He cheated.
Yeah. I don't think I remember seeing that block, and I was at my boy's apartment here. I jumped off of the couch like, oh my gosh. I'd never seen anything like that.
He ran past Steph, who was sprinting.
Oh man. That's so scary to me, man. If I see anything like that, I'm never putting up a layup because you just never know where that man's coming from.
That's like, have you ever seen an NFL lineman run in real life?
Yeah, I had, NFL potential. He didn't make it that far, but yeah.
Guys that size.
You got quick feet, man.
Not be able to move like that.
6'8". We also got to talk about one day. He did take some human growth hormones or something.
Who you talking about?
LeBron.
Oh.
In high school?
No, man. Miami LeBron, that last year in Miami, looked like he was about to be on the Avengers. He was on something, man. And then Adam Silver is like doing the drug test. This man went on Weight Watchers 3 times, like,
he did lose that weight like crazy.
Like, looked like a vegan, almost like he had just lost some weight and nothing.
Remember, that's the summer after his body overheated and cramped up in San Antonio.
Yep.
Which is also of taking that stuff.
You're telling me this man is only injured his groin? Telling you he's taking something. Only his groin, he's injured? Like, that's it?
Feel that way about Steph.
Oh, good. Steph is a conspiracy theory. That's it.
Now Steph hasn't had ankle injuries in 10 years? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
2011 where he had glass ankles, which is why the team.
Well, hold on, no. It was sometime in the last season, like he was starting to have some ankle injuries again. It started coming back around.
That run, he never experienced an injury over their 5-year run.
Bro.
You don't remember hearing the story Mark Jackson prayed over his ankles, man.
I don't care if it was the hand of the Lord. I'm just letting you know this should not be possible.
He anointed their ankles, man.
And I had a coworker that got the same surgery, and normal recovery time is a year.
Man came back, won MVPs. MVPs, man. He contradicts everything for light-skinned assassins, man. We usually get injured and we're done. Grant Hill.
Wearing the same guards that he was wearing pre-2012.
Brandon Roy.
Oh,
Listen, if Brandon Roy had never gotten injured, that man would have been an MVP type player.
Brandon Roy was, yeah, that's a hooper's hooper. That's like your favorite player's favorite player.
Yeah.
Kobe said he did not like playing.
He said what?
Kobe said he did not like matching up with him.
Oh, I believe it. Somebody that's that small but that strong and quick and not undersized like Isaiah Thomas, like at like the perfect size. You know what he reminds me of? Like what like a more controlled Steve Francis, like a Stephon Marbury like type. It was just
yeah.
He's bigger than that.
Yeah, he is. I don't even know what we were on before. Oh,
well, we were talking about Indiana and the Bulls in that series.
Oh. I ain't nothing else to say, but I just wish Reggie Miller would get his respect. That's all. I just hope he does. That's all I hope.
I just remember it being such a big deal that before Game 7, Michael Jordan publicly came out and said, "We will win Game 7."
I was thinking about that because, like, and this is probably another discussion topic. The things that that Jordan is saying, if this man LeBron says half of this stuff, we're like, who are you to say that? My man gets up at a press conference and says, we're winning Game 7. If we say that LeBron says anything like that, we're just talking about how irrational. Not saying that we are, but how irrational he is, things of that sort.
But if he doesn't?
If he doesn't get more than 3 assists, is he really helping his team? He could have dropped 45. Like
the key thing in all of this is that he said it, and then they did it. If LeBron says it and the team wins, no one has anything to say.
But I think this is also the factor, though, is that LeBron has a critique of never being that player at the end of the game who wanted the ball, who will go out and do whatever it took. He's known as the player that's going to make that pass. Jordan was known as a person, and like at that point in '98, he was known as a person that would always take the ball and was going to make sure that they won the game at the end of the game. So there was no doubt.
Can I say this? All right, I'm sick of this topic. Okay, why am I sick of this?
What?
We can only play to what the defense is getting at that moment. I'm not saying that LeBron has made the right decisions all the time. I'm not saying that. But we can't keep saying that Jordan made the right decision by giving the ball to Paxson, by giving the ball to Kerr, and then say that LeBron didn't make the right decision. That's all I'm saying. Let me just say this because I know people are going to be like,
I'm not saying
I do think Jordan is number one. I understand.
No, I'm not saying that LeBron is going to is not that. I'm saying that Jordan was the person that would always want the ball and go at, and he was going to make sure at the end of the game, we're going to win the game because I'm taking the last shot.
But here's my thing, and this is what I completely agree. I'm just trying to have an objective. Like, I don't want to get caught in the Jordan ghost of everything that I believe, like, okay, just because he did something, that adapts for every player. And that's the problem, like, I'm having. We understand, we keep saying that LeBron is more of a Magic type. But then we keep saying we want him to be Jordan at the same time. What do we want? So if we want him to be Magic and get the ball to people and everything, and we praise him because he's a point forward, and we say he could possibly be the best point guard in the league at this moment because he's playing the one. All right, so if he gives the ball up, just like Jordan did off of a double team, and the team, they score, win the game, it's 2 different receptions. Jordan made the right play, and he trusts his teammates. LeBron trusts his teammates, makes the right play too much. That's all I'm saying, and I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. That's all.
Here's the thing. This comes down to my firm belief that LeBron isn't as complete an offensive player as Michael Jordan.
That's true.
Okay?
It's completely true.
I believe that LeBron James has, maybe fear is the wrong word, but he has an unease about handling the ball in the last minute of the game because of the chance that he'll get fouled and have to go shoot free throws.
That is fair. Great. That's who he is. But I'm saying I'm not going to have the expectation that he's going to do everything like Jordan.
No.
I came to that understanding just more and more that I watch his game. So how do I appreciate LeBron for LeBron? I want to expect the things that LeBron would do as far as his habits have shown in general. If I see LeBron hit the game winner, I'm shocked. Oh, wow. That's it. Like,
for me, I think it's mainly like in that regard, it's more like Jordan had more reliable teammates. Jordan didn't have a J.R. Smith.
I mean, Okay. We're getting into the semantics of it all. Like JR has been on at times.
At times, but it was never in a clutch situation.
I think
okay, what are we okay, time out. What are we defining as clutch? Are we saying like the last couple of seconds? Because I don't know how to really have this argument in an objective way. Because if we're talking about the course of a fourth quarter, like if someone's hitting shots, that's been JR before. And I'm here on the part of that LeBron is not the same type of player as Kobe and Jordan. I'm just saying I don't want to do the whole pro Jordan, anti LeBron. I think you can be pro.
Oh, I'm not. Oh no, trust me, I'm not anti LeBron. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying because of LeBron's mindset and his skill set, he is that Magic type player. Yes, but at the same time, he wasn't. I don't think he was successful, especially in Cleveland, because of the personnel that he had around him. They weren't always dependable. They weren't.
Magic wasn't a jump shooter either.
Well, you said what?
Magic wasn't a jump shooter either.
He wasn't.
No, but I'm saying I'm not expecting for LeBron to be like that. Would I wish that he did? Sure. But I also got to know that's not his game. It just isn't. I just wish everybody would come to this point of understanding that's not his game. Let's stop trying to put him in the Jordan category. Like, that's what I'm saying. And, like, just leave him for that LeBron, that Magic, that Penny, that Scottie category. Because the playing styles are too – during Christmas break, when he's playing Clippers, gets the ball at the end, and Patrick Beverley, who's 2 inches taller than me, is on him and pokes the ball away, it's because, like you talked about, Steven, his game offensively, there's many different things that he can do, but at the crunch time, there may not be something that he can do, which is like go to that go-to move and stuff. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's LeBron.
That's who he is. That's just who
he is. So he doesn't have that Kyrie. Kyrie decided to leave. Anthony Davis decides, and this is another thing that irritates me, he always wants to shrink in the fourth quarter. So it's like, or they don't give him the ball like they should and set him up like in the fourth quarter. Like there's things that could work for LeBron for his story to be just as good. But I think we're trying to put him consistently every time in this Jordan mold, and he's not. He just isn't. He's not as good as him, and that's it. He just ain't. So let's move him out, and let's like talk about LeBron as far as LeBron, because every time we compare him to Jordan, things just ain't going to match up. He can't shoot free throws, man. Why are we comparing him to Jordan? Why?
He's never made 80% free throws in the season.
So why am I having a discussion about what him and Jordan would do at the end of the game? That's what I'm saying. This is irrational. Not saying that it's not entertaining. I'm just saying it's irrational because he doesn't have the same skill set. We're just going to be discussing about how we want LeBron to be like Kobe and Jordan. And I'm not saying this is us. I'm just saying, like, we're stretching this stuff as a generation now, like, where we're going to miss what LeBron really, especially now. Like, I hate that all this COVID stuff happened and I hate that Kevin Durant got injured because I was looking forward to KD being on the team by himself with an ace in Kyrie, with Kawhi being on a team by himself with an ace in Paul George, and then with LeBron being on a team by himself with an ace in Anthony Davis. Because all I'm saying is, and Harden and my boy Westbrook. All right.
And there's one more team you're missing.
All right.
Won't be ready until next year, but
we stretching now.
Golden State.
Oh boy.
They're
injured reserve. But now we got the people to look forward to. All I'm saying is that for all intents and purposes, like, I'm not expecting that from LeBron. Who am I expecting that from? That end-of-game assassin? KD, Kawhi, James Harden. It's just two different styles, man. And if LeBron hits at the end of the game, we're excited for that because all we're like projecting is we wanted him to keep doing this. Sure, fine. He has hit clutch shots before. He's done it. It's just not he's not the assassin scorer, sniper that Jordan, that Kevin Durant, all these guys were. He's not. That's it.
I'll say this. For LeBron, I don't care about him trying to be like Jordan or anything like that, because Jordan's gonna be Jordan. This is just my opinion. Jordan's gonna be Jordan. But I think LeBron has that, here goes a cliche word, that dog in him that he showed in that Pistons series. Was it 2007?
When he dropped 40
Yeah.
and didn't let them, like, he scored every basket.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying, like, oh, man.
I think he has that in him, but he doesn't like showing it all the time.
Besides the mistake that he made at the end of the game, which goes back to y'all's point, I'm in complete agreement. Besides the mistake that he had at the end of the game of game one, when Cleveland went to the finals the last time, with not taking Steph Curry. My man had dropped 50, and JR, all of this stuff like happens. He doesn't get that charge call at the end. It's just a whole bunch of things that happen. All I'm saying is, yes, I would have liked to have seen him take that ball and take it at Steph Curry. But now, just like a father of a child, I can't expect my child to keep doing something that I just want him to do, because I just realized, like, it ain't in his nature. All right, so forget it, whatever. I just can't do it, because all of these discussions is just like, man, we're arguing about somebody that is never going to be like this person. It just isn't going to happen.
He's not showing it in year 17, then what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what logic do we have these days? Like, he's been ingrained, and he's been playing since he's at this level since 15, 16. Like this point forward. Why are we expecting this man who's about to be 40 to change now? Why are we doing that? Like I said, Jordan's still number one. That's all it is.
Steve, we need to hear from you.
What? Everything he said, I agree with. I think if you bring it up, I think Kobe is one extreme of the spectrum when we're talking about late game heroics. Kobe will shoot even if it's hurtful for his team.
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, LeBron, even if he has the advantage, will still prefer an open teammate.
Yeah.
Right in the middle
is a Jordan.
Jordan, who will let the defense determine what he does to a point, because he still feels he's a better option in most cases than other teams.
And that's the thing, Steve. Jordan gets better shots than Kobe.
No doubt.
He gets better shots. Yeah. That's it.
No doubt.
That's really the separation. And even though Kobe had the game, it's like Jordan would get better shots. I'm not saying I watch all their games. All I'm saying is, based off of what we can see, how many times is Jordan going reverse shoulder with 3 people on him? Like, and then just saying, we're going to live and die by me. He's getting the ball to where he needs to be, and he's also getting to his spots on the floor where he needs to be.
If there are 3 people on me, that means I have 2 open teammates.
Yes. But here's the thing, man. Like, oh, man, I just wish, like, people would listen to themselves. How many times were you yelling, Jordan, pass the ball? Like, Kobe passed the ball became like a whole nother brand within itself. Like, there's a reason behind that. The reason why we were saying LeBron scored the ball, because he wasn't doing it. We weren't saying any of this stuff about Jordan. So I don't want to hear anybody talk about, like, who's eclipsing, anything like that. Jordan's the best player for even reasons outside of basketball. It's just he's an enigma. He's almost like a godlike figure. It's just you're not gonna defeat him. There's people I've heard in my dad's generation talk about Kareem, because about the dominance that he had. He scores all these points off of one move. He's been the best player from high school on to the NBA. You could have that argument, but he didn't have the brand. He didn't have the mystique. He was aloof, as they talk about, because of him not talking to the media. All these different things. He was not the same.
I think his criticism of Kareem when you compare them, because everyone says that he has a better resume, which may be true, right? Except for the big thing that everyone leaves out is that I'm not sure Kareem has any finals MVPs.
I don't know about that either.
He might. Didn't he have one when he was in Milwaukee?
I don't know. I'd have to double check. I know Jordan has 6.
I'm not sure, but I do know.
I know Michael Jordan never went to the finals and did not win MVP. But Kareem wasn't always the best player on his team, especially towards the end of his career. Right?
Who was better, Jerry Stackhouse or Michael Jordan when they're on the Wizards?
Give me a break. Ty Lue, what are you gonna say?
Oh man, Brendan Haywood or Michael Jordan?
Right? No.
Ryan Grant or Michael Jordan? What is this?
And so that's my criticism of Kareem. He has Jordan beat on longevity. He has more NCAA titles. He scored more points, more rebounds. Yeah, whatever. He was always the best player.
He's got two Finals MVPs.
But Steve, let me ask you this. All right, so these are why even when ESPN came in with their rankings, this is so unfair to people, even to Jordan, because how are we discussing someone is the better player? Because how we would assess the better player out on the playground is we're going to play one-on-one, or that guy killed you in the matchup. Like, we can't go off of just like the rings thing. We can add it to it, but it's like, I think Jordan was the better player because on the floor, there's nothing that he could not do. I just think he's just the best player, period. I'm not even talking about championships. I just think if you told me that somebody could shoot, that could play defense, that could pass the ball, that could motivate his teammates, sure, fine. That's Michael Jordan to me. Be ready in crunch time if that's how you want to do it. Michael Jordan. If you want to talk championships, Michael Jordan. If you want to talk about who's best on both sides of the floor, Michael Jordan. So for me, it becomes really simple. That's it.
Wes, just preach the gospel.
That is it.
Like y'all didn't know I was a ventriloquist.
But that's what I'm just saying. I mean, am I expecting Larry Bird to beat LeBron James in one-on-one in their primes? Heck no. Nah, man. So am I expecting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to beat LeBron James in a one-on-one game? No. I give LeBron the edge over a lot of these guys. But everything else that comes involved with it is perception, optics, championships, leadership. Do I like this guy? Do I like that guy? But if we're just talking about on the floor, that's all I just want to know. If we're talking about on the floor, there's no one better than Jordan. That's all I'm saying. There you go. There you go. I just say, every time I get on YouTube, man, I'm trying to look for music, trying to do anything. I see Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, my man Nick Wright, all this stuff, man. I don't know how, and this is the other thing, I don't know how, like, these people are really rationalizing in their mind, like, LeBron is a better player.
As far as the thing with the media is that
he can't shoot free throws, man. Like, what?
But the thing with the media is that everyone's saying what you're saying. And so they can't stick out and they can't get clicks and they can't have people mad at them.
Exactly.
Unless they go against the tide.
Yeah.
But those that are even going against the tide, they've been against the tide. Your Shannon, your Knicks, your people that are in between, your Jay Williams, all these people. Like,
whole career on First Take.
You can have a discussion right now, forget injury, that Kevin Durant may be better than LeBron James. You can legit have that argument.
That thing flip-flops so many times. It like goes.
But I'm saying you didn't have that argument with Jordan. Who are you going to say who was second?
You didn't. Only time that you had that was like early on in the first three-peat, because a lot of people were saying that Clyde Drexler was better than him.
Man, Clyde needed to get some Rogaine and try on that. Man, forget anything about being better than Air Jordan. Improve your hairline. That's what he should have done.
Wes, that's not nice to talk about people's hairline.
Where's Clyde on the all-time list?
I think
Clyde Drexler, man.
I think he's one of those players that gets disrespected a lot.
He was very nice when I met him.
You ain't, but yo, man. I just don't like this revisionist history. It's like And Clyde, in context, yes, y'all are right. But I'm saying, of course, Jordan going to have that perception. It looks better now. It may look insane at that time, like this man thinking he's better.
It still looks insane.
It did. But you see how it panned out, though. That's all I'm saying. You see how everything came together.
Very similar. They both came in at around the same time.
I'm just saying, name the better. I'm not talking about 80s, because I think you could have a better argument during the 80s. You could talk about Bird's heyday. You could talk about Magic, everything like that. I'm talking about from 91 to 98. Who's the second best player, and how close are they to Jordan? Because right now, I could give LeBron the MVP. I could also say, though, in Kevin Durant's healthy state, I could even make a Kawhi argument that as far as on the floor.
Let's do that. Okay. 90s, right?
Yeah.
Hakeem.
Give you that.
Shaq.
Woo.
Shaq went to the
I would say yes.
91 to 98?
Yeah. Because when he came to the league,
you're taking him. Okay, or now here's the thing. Are you saying he's better than Hakeem, or are you taking Hakeem second?
Come on. Wait, I thought we're comparing guys that legitimately could be in the conversation with Jordan.
Okay. You're here. Okay.
Shaq is the only team that eliminated the Bulls.
I'll give you that. Okay. Who else you got?
Your boy Reggie should be in the conversation. Right?
But you just brought up Mitch Richmond.
Honestly, we're forgetting one person, Patrick Ewing, because those 90s Knicks. No, honestly, you got to think about it.
Look, did you see the list that's been making its way on social media about all the Hall of Famers that Michael Jordan kept from getting rings?
Yeah.
Okay, let's think about who else, all right?
Charles? Where's Charles in there? Karl Malone?
I gotta think harder. That's about it.
I think the one part. I think we already named it, like at least the one or two people that were consistent through that time period was either Hakeem or
Grant Hill, Penny.
But they dropped. Theirs was only like maybe 1 or 2 seasons.
That's all. But that's my point. It just goes straight to my point. Like, who is? Go ahead.
Young Kobe.
But I'm saying, like, we're talking about who's dominating people's primes.
Young Iverson.
He wasn't there yet, though.
I mean, both these guys came in '96.
But and that's what my point is. I'm saying through their primes, to whoever we're naming, I'm talking about that it's got to be in their prime, and Jordan is beating them in their prime.
Yeah.
Like, and who's second? Who's the guy that's coming close to Jordan? I say it's Hakeem, because that's a small forward that's playing center. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Got drafted ahead of Jordan, and people in Houston have no complaints.
That's the only person I'd say that is coming close as far as domination. Because, I mean, he's beaten Shaq. He's beaten Patrick.
What Shaq?
Huh?
What Shaq?
But that's what I'm saying. If we're talking about early 2000 Shaq, maybe it is different. But it wasn't. Maybe if Kobe's playing prime Jordan, it's a little bit different. But it wasn't. So I'm just saying, LeBron has been in this situation of he's played these players. Are we saying absolutely that LeBron has been the most dominant force, like knocking these guys out to the point where it's fearful? Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant are waking up. Damian Lillard waking up. They ain't concerned about if LeBron James walking on the floor, man. Like, these guys were in fear. I don't even know why they in fear of a grown man, but they in fear. I'm saying, who has that domination? That's Jordan, man. It may be because of the shoes, bald head, 6'6", dark-skinned black dude. I don't know. All I'm saying is, who has that domination? LeBron can't shoot free throws. I'm not even in this.
It all comes back to that.
That's the whole factor right there.
I heard Nick Wright, Chris Broussard got on there, was it last week after 7 and 8? And they were saying about like the GOAT conversation. And Chris Broussard gave like probably the cleanest argument, point by point, bullet point, on why Jordan's the greatest. Gave everything we just said. LeBron doesn't even have a go-to move, right? And here's Nick Wright talking about the overall, the height of this guy, the strength, everything like that. Wilt Chamberlain probably stronger than Mike. I'm just saying, like, why are we getting to the nitty-gritty of like how this man tied his shoes and everything like that? Like, let's talk ball. Like, my man can't shoot free throws. He's number 3 for me, but I'm just saying, he just can't.
Who's top 2 for you?
I got Mike, and for me personally, I think Kareem is number 2. I don't think you can. You can't really disrespect Kareem like that because he was a dominant force.
Fab, who's your 5 all time?
All time, 5 all time. Jordan, Kareem, Magic. I would probably say, I'm probably gonna get some pushback on this, but it's gonna be Larry Bird. And 5.
Where's
all time?
All time. Not even the Kobe in there.
No, never.
Woo! Hell's a fiery place to let you know that, Doug.
I'm gonna, and this is gonna piss both of y'all off, but I'm gonna say Steph Curry.
No.
All
For
right,
me,
look, I'm light-skinned and I don't even agree.
No. I think that the way the game is played now.
Oh man. Is she really gone?
No, that's ridiculous.
Listen, for me, he has changed the whole game.
But see, this is what I'm talking about, Fab. Stop with this ESPN headline.
No,
right?
this is not ESPN.
You just said he's changed the whole game. So we're talking about the players that have changed the game the most. Jordan. We can go back and say Larry, Magic, Jordan, Allen Iverson, LeBron, Steph Curry.
Wilt changed the game.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about who changed the game. But is Allen Iverson in your top 10?
You asked for my top 10 of all time.
Oh man.
All right. Okay.
That's my 5.
Here's my 5. The thing with my 5 is that 2 through 5 shifts every morning when I wake up for devotion. So
2 through 5?
2 through 5 move every morning when I wake up for devotion.
I feel that.
Number 1 doesn't move. All right? So Michael Jordan's number 1.
Of course.
2 through 5 in no particular order. Kobe, Magic, Kareem. So that's right. I have 3 Lakers in my 5. Right? Kobe, Magic, Kareem. I have 1 person left. Okay? That person, depending on the day, is either Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain or LeBron.
And see my like Steph is a flip flop with me with Bill Russell because you can't deny 11 rings.
Bro, you got Steph Curry above Kevin Durant.
Yes.
We're talking about on the floor. I'm not talking about perception. Not talking about light skin, green eyes. He got a nice family. Nothing like that. I'm talking about on the floor, man.
Listen, I think Kevin Durant like benefits a lot from his height. Like he benefits a lot from his height. I don't care what you all say. I don't care what you all say. Listen to.
But Fab, we've never seen a 7-footer who can move and shoot like he was 16.
All right.
You could say Steph Curry benefits from his height. You could make that argument.
How?
Because of just him being so small. He could move quicker.
Look, we thought it was bad enough with Dirk, but that's someone who could shoot the lights out at 7 feet. Wasn't the most agile fellow. Now you have someone that's built like a longer Scottie Pippen, but can shoot like Dirk.
Okay.
I think.
Question is.
Go ahead, fam.
So why hasn't he won more MVPs? Then? He's had chances in Oklahoma City to win multiple MVPs.
Man, you know what media does, man. It's about the story. It is literally about the story. That's who's winning. Steve Nash has 2 MVPs and has the same numbers right now in one of those MVP seasons that Kyle Lowry has. Kyle Lowry, janitorial custodian Kyle Lowry. Like, no, I'm saying the cleanup man. Like, but he ain't about to be no MVP. What are we? It's a story, man. The media is gonna give to the story. LeBron could have gotten MVP all of these years. He ain't got him. KD could have gotten them.
Listen, KD is a homeboy. DMV. Listen, yes, great.
PG
County, man. Come on, man. What is this?
Hey, PG County.
And once KD went to the Warriors, he was never going to even place in the MVP conversation.
Oh, yeah, I know that whole MVP conversation with anybody on the Warriors was negated from there. It was totally negated.
Help.
Say it one more time.
You have too much help.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give it to you.
Yeah, I knew. Everybody knew that was out of the question.
All I'm saying is, I think Fab. I'll put it this way: if Steph Curry comes and he dominates some more after this injury, I mean, talking about championships, right? I can hear your argument as far as him creeping into that top 10 or near that top 10.
Who has to pass Kobe?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, at this moment, I don't know.
I will make Steve explode right now for this comment I'm thinking about saying.
You are not about to say that Steph has already passed Kobe Bryant.
Oh, you just a hater, fam. you just a hater, man.
I wasn't even gonna say that, but
yeah, but no. I want to know what you're gonna say.
I was gonna say that Kobe's not even like that high on my Lakers list.
Your Lakers list?
Yes.
Who is on your Lakers list?
Kareem,
Michael Cooper? Who is this?
Shoot, I might even put Mike in ahead of.
Oh man.
I'm going to talk to them about taking back the entertainment.
Oh, boy.
Listen, for me, all right, real talk, seriously.
This man's got Byron Scott above. Sasha Vujacic on.
Andrew Bynum.
Oh, man.
So, all right, let me ask you this. On the scale of Kobe, let's just talk about Kobe real quick. On the scale of Kobe, what did Kobe do to change the game? Because I know that
you're not talking about changing the game, though.
No, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. I really don't know what he did to change the game. Humanitarian efforts. I don't know.
In any kind of way, because you can say Iverson enhanced the game in some kind of way, with his dribbling, with like his scoring. Like what way?
Okay, let me ask you this. What are we getting to in your point? Because I don't have Allen Iverson in my top 10.
No, it's just a general question. I'm just asking. Yeah. Because a lot of people this is a question I've seen a lot out.
I don't think Kobe changed the game or was transcendent in the sense of revolutionizing the game in any way, probably besides his demeanor that he brought from Jordan-esque and everything like that. But outside of that, I don't think he necessarily was revolutionary as far as like no one had ever seen anything like this before.
Yes. Is Iverson top 20 for you?
You said for me?
Yeah.
I would put him, but I also have the bias of the small guy mindset. So, yeah.
Is he behind or in front of Isaiah Thomas?
Oh, Isaiah Thomas is above. What? See, man, this is my thing. Isaiah Thomas is the best small guard ever.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because I know
now that's what I should have really gotten on you about, Chad. You're putting Steph Curry above Isaiah Thomas?
I wouldn't.
Because here's the other thing. If we're talking about conditions, Isaiah Thomas Isaiah Thomas was not in a league that was allowing him to score to the point that he probably could have.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you're right about that. But I'm saying for me,
all right, that's fine.
I'm just saying for me,
going to the light skin Kool-Aid, man.
I just see Steph as the most disrespected MVP ever.
He should be.
All right, I ain't going there that he should be.
Unanimous.
Okay, now that was a stretch.
But that's not on him. That's not on him. That's the writers. That's not on him. He just played ball. That's all he did.
So you think that Westbrook deserved the MVP then?
Heck no.
Oh, so then he's the most disrespected. It's all a story, Fab. That's all I'm saying. Westbrook got that MVP because of the storyline that year. His team wasn't even that great.
They were 6.
Yeah, so like Steven's salty about because no playoff showing James Harden didn't get it, man.
Wait, let's remember, James Harden averaged 35 and wiped out the Thunder with their MVP and sent them home.
And what happened the next round?
They went to the conference finals.
And what happened?
They lost to one of the greatest teams of all time.
All I'm saying is, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Just show up. That's all I want to hear.
30. He got eliminated in Game 7, averaging 30.
And in his press conference, as a Houston Rockets fan, if he said, well, I mean, I lost to the greatest team of all time, how in the world would you feel?
I'm not trying to get
Okay. That's like Dirk getting up after 2006, after us almost breaking the freaking winning record and losing in the first round, and he says, well, I mean, they had the camaraderie to beat us. What? Like, no, man.
That's what's going to take. James Harden is just going to have to lose his mind and go on a run, win a ring, and put all of that to bed.
Oh, if James Harden got a ring, Dirk and him have gotten the most important rings in history.
Right.
Most important ring.
Frozen. Come on back. Okay, and we're back.
What happened?
I have no idea.
Yo, we better not have lost all of that energy.
I was still recording.
Okay. I'm not yelling again.
This is why these top 10 lists, I mean, they're so passionate, but this is why I can't keep doing them. Because like you said, Steven, they do change. Some days Kobe is better than LeBron to me, then some days LeBron is better than Kobe.
I still have Kobe in front of LeBron. For me.
I understand. I get it.
Because of his resume. I mean, you have 5 rings. I understand the argument against it. I've argued it both ways because I was a Kobe hater.
I'm still a Kobe hater. Even in his death, I'm a Kobe.
Please tell me why. I'm not talking about no death stuff, man. We all sensitive to death. We know the Lord's coming back and all that stuff. We understand all that. I'm saying, what in the world? Why do you hate Kobe so much?
To me, he was just he was.
And please tell me why hate Kobe but not hate Jordan. Please let me know.
Jordan's the original. That's an easy one, Wes.
Jordan is the originator, but also Jordan.
So the original jerk, we're okay with.
Because that was him authentically.
Kobe, you don't believe Kobe Bryant was? Oh, see that? Oh man.
Oh, that's where I believe Kobe patterned his game and his persona and even his voice and how he walked after Michael Jordan. Let's be clear. Everything you saw from Kobe, and he said it, everything you saw from me was because of Michael.
Yep.
Which is why I can never put him above Michael.
Now, I'm not talking about above. I'm saying, why do you hate him?
I used to hate him because I love Michael Jordan, and I thought that he was a knockoff. And at a certain point at his peak, if he kept winning rings, you don't remember after the three-peat, he wasn't 28.
I know.
Yeah.
There was a legitimate chance.
Yeah.
And he could have got 6 or 7.
Yeah.
If
You're
Kobe
right.
Bryant had gotten to 6 rings, people west of Texas would not have heard any other conversation.
The Last Dance. Forget this.
They would have been sea walking. Would never have if Kobe Bryant actually got to ring 6, you would never. If Michael Jordan, it would be civil war.
Listen, and was it 2008? Was his last one, or 2009?
10, 2010.
Oh, that's right. 2010. Yeah, I was like, dang, he might get that 6.
All right, Fab, it's your turn. I need to know why you hated.
I think one, it was like what Steve said. He was a knockoff Jordan. 2, I just hated that he was like a ball hog and just like his shooting percentage was like garbage. Like he just took the ball and just shot it whenever he wanted to. It was like, dude, this is like disrespectful to the game. Like, actually play the game of basketball. Make the right pass. You have some good teammates still with you.
He did not make good decisions. Even
Terrible.
Wiser, he still made poor decisions.
And okay, and the third thing was like his arrogance early on, like in like was it the first in that three-peat. Like he was just super arrogant, and that annoyed the hell out of me.
See, that's what life is, man. He can't win because this man. All I'm saying is, I agree that he didn't make the best plays or the best decisions, everything like that. I'm just saying to what degree? This always goes back to the Jordan thing. To what degree do we want people to be? Because we want them to copy it, we want them to be it, but then we don't like it.
But look, no one's asking for full-on copies, Wes. I think
yes, they are.
No,
I'm saying you may not be, but people are literally asking for you need to have the determination of a Kobe and Jordan.
Okay, but that's determination. We don't want everything.
No, we don't want.
No. But we won't clarify on what we don't want. We just say we want Jordan and Kobe. Therefore, if we do want a Jordan and Kobe, what exactly do we want out of a Jordan and Kobe?
Differences between Jordan and Kobe. Kobe didn't learn everything. There was still gaps,
I agree. I'm just saying, as far as the media narrative of everything, what do we want out of them?
Don't bring the media into it. We're talking, right?
No. I'm saying I think we have an objective point of view towards it all. All I'm saying is how are we bringing it into full picture for a player like Devin Booker at this current moment, who is scoring out of his mind. Bradley Beal scoring out of his mind because they ain't got nobody else on the team and everything like that. We see good numbers. But let's say they go to another team, Devin Booker especially, goes to another team and is like, this is my team. I'm carrying it my way. Everything like that brings this whole, because Kobe's one of his favorites of all time, brings this whole nature of Kobe. Are we saying like, okay, that's what we want? We want that guy? Or do we want the nice guy, the LeBron, the friendly, the whatever it is? Like, what do we want?
I was never a fan of the friendly.
I
came up on 90s basketball, especially when it came to the playoffs.
You came up on 90s basketball where Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were kissing at half court. You came up on 90s basketball where Charles Barkley was out with Michael Jordan the game right before. That's 90s ball.
Magic and Isaiah, that's the 80s. And every call, that serious beef after 91 with Magic's HIV diagnosis.
And that's fair. I'm just saying, let's not flip the script. And just because we didn't have all of the details in the 90s, let's not just say that they were all just hating each other.
Good. It was even a bigger deal when they liked each other because more and more hate.
But I'm saying you just didn't have the inside of it all. That's what I'm saying. To be fair to this generation, you can't say that these guys didn't want it more just because you're seeing more of their lives and who they were working out with. When these same niggas decide to go all the way to Los Angeles to go and play with Mike Jordan.
Wes, remember, back then, these guys weren't playing together on AAU and everything like now.
I understand that.
Have known each other since grade school.
I get you.
Back then, they might meet for the first time in college.
Might.
Right.
And that doesn't mean, though, that they can't be
but
friends, all that other stuff.
Different.
But the difference is between, like, in the 90s, they would go out to lunch like the night before, but they knew at the game time, I hate you right now. So I don't care if you're my friend or anything like that.
Patrick Ewing was Michael Jordan's close friend, and Pat Riley would find them if they went out to dinner.
Hold on, I'm going to come back with my point.
Pat Riley would find the Knicks and take another player off the ground.
Listen.
I watched this happen. This wasn't the last dance I saw this on. I was sitting there on my parents' couch watching these dudes try to kill each other.
And they would go to dinner right after. It was like, yo,
Some
how's
of them.
family doing?
Some of them.
Yeah, some. Not everybody. Yo, I gotta hold on. I hated Karl Malone's a part of my hate list too. But I gotta give him mad respect because when they showed in the documentary, he came on the bus afterwards and dapped him up.
I never knew that happened.
Like that's the respect.
But to even have the camera rolling, right?
Right. That's like I still hate Karl Malone, but you know.
I hate Karl Malone for multiple reasons. Multiple reasons I hate Karl Malone. The big off the court.
You feel better now, Wes?
Yes, I had to step out and move my car. But anyways.
You moved your car in 30 seconds?
That was pretty
No,
cool.
I was going to move my car. That was it. But I didn't end up doing it.
He had his parking attendant to move his car from him. You tossed the keys at him?
I wish. Oh boy, man. Y'all frustrated me enough today. All these takes y'all got.
This upload is going to take at least 5 hours to upload. I'm going to let you know that now.
It's fine. Give the people something to watch.
Hey. All I'm saying is this.
What are we going to talk about after all of this?
I think we were going to talk about before. You know, we had topics for a while.
This was like, what are we going to talk about now?
Is Carmelo going to play in the season if they have one?
I'm not talking about a role player washed up Carmelo no more.
Here we go. Yes.
So,
we got something to talk about.
I'm out. I'm out of here. Out of here, man. I'm out. Y'all are just full of this, man. Oh, man.
Trying to even stay in the league.
Oh, man.
Yes, he's one of the nicest players ever. His game is tremendous. But what are we saying? What was he averaging in Portland?
Go look, please. Go look right now. And tell me what you're expecting for him to do right now. When Dwayne Wade can't stay on the floor and had to retire, and everybody else out of that class is gone, and Luke Walton out here coaching the Sacramento Kings.
What I thought is what he's averaging, 15 points.
Let me know.
15 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 2 assists.
You said 15 points?
He's averaging 15.3 points. That's about what I thought.
That's good. I'll be back.
All right. Why don't you let me say how fast somebody.
We got something to talk about. I'm just gonna stop it right now. I'm just gonna stop it. Stop the recording.
Get off your Kobe Bryant slander now.